What are my thoughts on media restrictions and bodybuilding contracts? What's up, everyone? This is Christian Duke. You're watching Strength Addicts on all social media platforms, powered by TitanMedicalCenter.com, your go-to source for all the amazing therapies, and Amazon's Fit Mag Celebrate the Female Physique. I actually know a thing or two about this because 5 years ago, I was the marketing director for Iron Mag Labs, and I actually forbade athletes from appearing at RX Muscle and Muscle Sport Mag because I saw them as rival enterprises. With Muscle Sport Mag, we were at war, which I, long made up with Joe thanks to Kim Fit-Ass Haynes, and it was a really, really bad time. It was stupid, it was short thought out, but it is what it is. With RX, I felt that, at the time we had Greg Valentino, and I was the marketing director, but honestly, I was more like the social media manager, athlete relations, contest coverage. I didn't really do marketing, but that was my title, and that's what I got paid for, so hey, I wasn't gonna complain. But here's the deal. We were paying Greg a lot of money for a lot of shows, whereas RX didn't pay him any money, and they were getting huge numbers out of it. So in my mind, I was like, well, no, we can't do this. And in hindsight, it was probably not the smartest idea. It was also coming from Rob because, to be honest with you, Rob was the one paying. I was the one, approving it, but it wasn't my money. It was Rob's money. And at the end of the day, it was Rob's company, and Rob pulled the plug on Iron Mag TV in 2018 because, more money was going out than money was coming in. But in the end, he also had a gripe because of the fact, and Rob, I hope you don't mind me saying this because, it's the truth, and I write for Iron Magazine, I love Iron Magazine, but, you got to think of it as a businessman. If you're paying, talent thousands of dollars and, getting good product, but then he goes over to RX Muscle and he gives them an hour's worth every week or more than that because Dave knows that Greg gets the hits. Greg gets the hits, but he's not paying Greg. It kind of dilutes the Iron Mag Labs product a little bit, you know what I mean? So here's the thing. I know that right now everybody's talking about Fouad, Abiad, and Nick Shier, and Xavier Wills put it out there that first he said that, hostile athletes weren't allowed on Desktop. Then he said he didn't really believe that was the case, but then he said it was really hard to get them. And then he said that he thought maybe it was in the contract. And then he said that, over the years, everybody that leaves hostile, apparently leaves okay, but then, is on Fouad's shit list. I don't know. The reality of the matter is I understand Xavier's frustrations because he doesn't really know. Somebody may have told him about their contract, but that doesn't mean that Fouad gives every athlete the same contract. With regards to media restrictions, though, you really have to, I'm going back 5 years. I'm saying I probably would have thought it up a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, you got to understand the business side of things. If you're paying somebody to do content and then they go and do it somewhere else for free, it waters down the product that you're paying for. It also may send some of the traffic that would normally go to the content that the guy's being paid for over to where he's not getting paid. You know what I mean? It's about business. At the end of the day, it's about business. Fouad owns a business. And the other thing with Desktop Bodybuilding is that it's a rival enterprise to BroChat. And I don't know how extensive the hostile supplement contract is, but I would imagine it includes the podcast. I would imagine it might include clothing. I would imagine it might be something like a 360 deal. Now in the music industry now, I'm holding this phone up with two hands in downtown, so bear with me. They don't make cassettes anymore. They don't make CDs anymore. They don't make vinyl anymore, at least not like they used to. Now it's all streaming. Streaming doesn't exactly pay the bills. So what do record companies do now when they sign a band or a solo artist? They do a 360 deal. So they get, the streaming, they get the t-shirts, they get the concert tickets. They have their hand in everything. And that's how it makes sense for them to front artists money, give them advances, pay for their hotels and their air, and pay them a salary, pay for their studio time. Otherwise, the record companies would go broke because all Spotify and iTunes pay is pennies on the dollar. They can't make money off that. At the end of the day, it's a business. So it has to make business sense. And that's where I think there's a disconnect between Fouad and Xavier, or Xavier and Fouad, and a lot of people in the fitness industry when it comes to Fouad, Abiad, and BroChat, and businesses and contracts and media restrictions. At the end of the day, if I could have my druthers, if I could go back, I probably would have been a little bit less restrictive with Greg, a little bit less restrictive with Big Frank and them. But at the same time, it wasn't my money, it was Rob's money. And I had to do right by Rob. I had to do right by the company. just like Fouad has to do right by Bro Chat, and he has to do right by Hostel. So it may not be personal, it may just be business. But sometimes business and personal, when you are the business owner, the lines get blurred. Now, I'm by no means saying that Fouad was right to leave the guy's hand out when he tried to shake hands, if that happened. I'm also not saying that he needs to say, hey, we're cool, if in reality they're not. But it could also be changed feelings. You know, maybe when Justin broke, they were cool. And maybe by Toronto, they weren't cool. People change their minds a lot. You know, we're humans. I know it seems like I'm coming out swinging for Fouad. I'm not. I'm just saying I understand the business side of things. And even when I started this video and started to write this article at strengthaddicts.com, my position was going to be one of regret. But now that I think about it more, I hate to double down, but when you're doing business, it has to make business sense.